Hi guys, the last video was 14 minutes or so and looks like YouTube accepted it. I intended to go on to 4 betting and showing where real world and um, theory sort of clash a little bit depending on opponent types. But I wanted to, while I have all this set up, I want to elaborate a little bit more on this 3-bet, 4-bet dynamic that's going on between these two players. Okay, now I was discussing before that we have a 4-bet bluff in our range here that is ace queen suited. Now, normally when you're coming up with your bluffs, you want to use the best of the hands that you would normally otherwise fold. Now, when we look at the range of hands that we had initially, we see that we included pocket jacks in there. Okay, just two combinations of pocket jacks. And somebody may wonder why we are not using pocket jacks as our 4-bet bluff rather than ace queen suited. And the reason is, if you look several videos back, I do a comparison in the card removal between pocket jacks and ace king. Well, the same thing is true when you compare ace queen suited to pocket jacks. Pocket jacks is stronger than ace queen suited in a head-to-head match, but pocket jacks has no gain of effective removal. There are not going to be very many hands with jacks in your opponent's premium range, so you're not really attacking him very much. Whereas when you attack him with ace queen suited, okay, you are taking away 3 combinations of his pocket aces, you're taking away 3 combinations of his pocket queens, and you're also taking away 3 combinations of his ace-king hands. Okay, so you reduce the value portion of his range considerably and suddenly make his, what was previously a very well-balanced range, more heavily weighted toward bluffs than it is toward the value bets, or weighted to the degree that it's open to exploitation. Okay, now, I'm taking the ace-queen suited hand out of here for a second. Quickly running the sim. And right now, as things stand here, we open. The off raises to 60, and we're defending with about 31% of our hands, which is sufficient to keep him from making money on bluffs. For instance, if he started bluffing with any 2 cards right now, he doesn't make any money. Okay, he starts attacking us with random hands, and now they have less of an effect of removal on our range than his value betting did. Okay, now we're defending with a full 34%, and his bluffs are all losing money. Okay, but again, if he doesn't attack with those, if he attacks instead with hands that make use of blockers, like the ace-x suited hands and the king-x suited, the king-x hands, they can be suited or unsuited. If he attacks us with these hands, we're in trouble. Okay? He attacks us with those hands. Now we're suddenly only defending 30%, and all of his bluffs are making money. They're all reducing the frequencies of our value hands, and we're not defending enough. Now, what this does, it illustrates a point that some people I've talked with have trouble with. Okay, when you have a good loose aggressive player, not just a maniac, but a good lag who understands the game, understands ranges, when he starts attacking another player and he's using a lot of bluffs, he's not afraid of running into quality hands. Okay, what he's afraid of is somebody bluffing back at him with nothing. Okay, it's hard for some type players to grasp this, but here he's attacking with all these hands with blockers, the ace-x hands, the king-x hands, and they're making money, even though the opponent is defending with his quality hands, pocket queens or ace-king. The problem is that we don't get quality hands frequently enough to thwart the strategy of an aggressive bluffer. The only way that we can sometimes thwart his strategy is to bluff back at him. That's what he's afraid of. When he has an opponent that will bluff back at him, he's forced to fold all these. Now, we're going to do a little thing here. We're going to go to our original opening range. We're going to take out, what we're going to do is we're going to add something that was not in previously. The weakest of all hands, 7 deuce offsuit. And we're going to put that in our range. Okay. Now what we're going to do, all his bluffs are making money. What we're going to do in response to his bluffs is we're going to 4-bet bluff him, and we're going to use 7 deuce offsuit as our bluff hand. Okay, as soon as we do this, we see that 7 deuce offsuit is actually profitable to the tune of $42.97. Okay, it's a profitable 4-bet bluff, and it immediately turns all his bluffs unprofitable. Okay? These hands cannot stand up to a raise, all bluffs, but because we were not defending with a sufficient portion of our range, these weak hands were making money from fold equity alone. They were generating enough folds to make money. As soon as we added just one additional hand to our range, even if it's the weakest hand, 7 deuce offsuit, suddenly these become unprofitable. Now let's take this out of here. We're only doing this to illustrate a point. 7 deuce is not in our range. Okay. What we want to bluff back is the best of our hands that we would otherwise fold, and that would be ace queen suited. Okay, we play back with ace queen suited. Suddenly we're defending with 4% again, and most of his stuff becomes unprofitable here. Okay, now do here, we're gonna remove these hands, and we're gonna get back to what we had originally intended his range to be. Okay. What we want to do is we want to tweak this just enough so that he's actually defending with 40% of the hands that he started with. Okay. Now, what we have here, let's look at his range. This we constructed so that it would have our 51 bluff hands. And even though we did this mathematically, intending it to be 40%, we notice that he ends up only defending 37%. Okay? Because our 4-bet bluff hand is including some blockers. What we need to do, we need to trim his range just slightly here. So we're gonna see which hands are the least profitable. Okay, we see that ace jack suited was a bluff hand of his. It's losing $4.45. What we're going to do is we're going to take it out of here and see what the effect is. Okay, now he's defending 43%. He's defending more than he needs to. So what we're going to do here is we're going to let's see. Let's set in ace deuce suited. Okay, that's about right. That's about right. Ace queen suited, we can reduce our frequency here. Call that 50%. Okay, now he's defending right at 41%, and we have our defensive hand in here. It's a little sacrifice. It's losing a little bit of money, not much. But as we've seen previously, if we don't include this 4-bet bluff here, he can then profitably 3-bet us with a wide range of hands, and we won't be playing enough back at him frequently enough to thwart his efforts. Okay, this is like a expenditure that we have to make to keep him in line. Okay, that's going to be all for right now, and we're going to go into the next one, which is going to be it's going to be a little bit on 4-betting.